Today is the opening day of the long-expected solo exhibition by one of our most in-demand represented artists, Remus Grecu. After the terrific solo show, Night Rainbows, at our Gallery Space in Kortrijk last year, the Romanian artist reveals his new works at IOMO Gallery in Bucharest. Welcome to Remus Grecu, Praying for the Snow. In numerous novels as well as in popular culture, snow is the guardian of memories. Under the white covering, memories linger in the tranquility of time passing by, bearing witness to our past and our origins. Snow carries with it a message of hope as its preserving force conveys the power of new beginning born from the refreshing feeling of a new and positive alternative appearing on the horizon. Melting snow reveals a new world, still immaculate, ready to be colored in bright colors in the first morning sun. However, global warming is the cause of a series of extraordinary events that have resulted in a decrease in snowfall, and we must assume that in the future there will be less and less snow and ice, and that winters will be a mere flash in the pan. We are living in a substantially warmer environment than we used to just a few decades ago, which is forcing us to live in a perpetual state of heat and discomfort, longing for a breath of fresh air. Remus Grecu's new body of work stems from this desire for hope and emphasizes, through a clever parallelism with snow, the sense of imminent extinction and ephemeral permanence of everything that permeates various aspects of our lives. Snow is like a living organism on the verge of extinction. And rightly so, since snow is life, its generative cycle, ushering in a pure and new world, is charged with the promise of a better future. Remus Grecu investigates the vanishing of the world as we know it, and the extinction of the living beings in collectivity through the disappearance of social traditions and rituals, folkloric traditions, and the relationship with nature, all of which used to bind us together and give us our identity. Today's global civilization has reached such a high point of individual liberation that its own continuation as a collective system, or at least a deep connection to something other than the self, is in jeopardy. Indeed, the great Western ambition for human liberation, which goes hand in hand with the process of individualization, seems to have reached the apex of that path which, from post-tribal antiquity now to present-day hypermodernity, attests to the primacy of the individual and his or her happiness as much over community as over species, sanctioning the end of a millennia-old civilization at the mercy of global threats and in particular the climate disaster that declares its extinction. And perhaps the human species will survive, but it will have to be seen what ecosystem will be left for it. The expedient of snow as a parallelism of disappearance, of snow itself, of the traditions that unite us, of collectivity, of contact with nature, and so on. And the consequent message of hope of the purity of snow, for a new beginning, are thus a perfect theatre for the characters that inhabit Grecu's works. Fantastic, mythical, and almost magical characters suspended in the delicate time of snow, that does not distinguish vanishing things but rather preserves things in their disappearance, waiting for better times. They almost appear in this time like shamans, guardians of reality under the snow, who may be intent in a propitiatory ritual, walk, move and perhaps dance in a prayer for the snow, so that the snow may return and not disappear and that it may everything well preserve and protect. And in melting, reveal a pure and new world, giving new hope, now almost lost, for a better future. These are now strongly positive characters, adorned with flamboyant clothes full of bright colors, borrowed from a cultural tradition. They carry with them the last elements of a once prosperous and united world, beginning with an important universal element that immediately catches the eye. Their costumes and more are adorned with elements that come from ancient folklore, such as the colorful stripes that are ever presented throughout Grecu's scenes and refer to the concept of the wishing tree. In different cultures around the world, wishing trees are created by writing, drawing, or communicating one's wishes, hopes and dreams on symbolic stripes that, like offerings, are attached to the trees in the hope that one's wishes will be granted. It is even as if these characters in a magical, anthropomorphic, mythological movement can become the trees themselves, and in an even deeper connection with nature, offer their prayers to the snow, to nature. This element is also emphasized by the anthropomorphic figures of bears that populate Remus Grecu's environments, figures once again borrowed from tradition, symbolizing here the deep connection with nature and the respect necessary to live in harmony with it. As if he were the blade of grass, the bear itself, the earth and the sky, since everything is in harmonic connection and extinction depends on each action of the individual. Through the snow, these mythical characters, ancient and actualized at the same time, thus seek to rediscover a sense of identity as human beings, for the continuation of memory and identity, trying to preserve the memories for the new and better world to come, just like how the snow does. The exhibition runs until October 4. For any further inquiries, write us at info@contemporaryartissue.com and we will happily provide you a catalogue with available works by Remus Grecu. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Feel free to watch our video on Remus Grecu's previous solo exhibition at CAI Gallery next. Support us on Patreon and please consider subscribing to stay posted on more contemporary art.